Welcome to today's podcast. Today, we're going to explore a concept that could change the way you see things: inversion. Have you ever felt stuck in an old way of thinking, unable to see a solution to the problem in front of you? Or have you ever tried to convince someone to buy a product but all your persuasion seemed to be in vain? Let me tell you a little story. Imagine you are a salesperson. You have spent hours practicing how to convince customers with the superior features of your product. You know that your product is great, and you believe that if customers understand it, they will definitely buy it. But the customer still does not want to open their wallet. At this point, instead of continuing to attack the customer with the advantages of the product, you try to stop and put yourself in their shoes. Ask yourself, what makes them hesitate? What makes them not ready? When you start thinking in reverse, from the buyer's perspective, you start to see things more clearly. Maybe they're concerned about cost, maybe they're wondering if this product is really right for their needs. This helps you change your approach from just focusing on the benefits of the product to addressing the customer's real concerns. When you do this, your ability to convince them increases dramatically. Inversion is exactly that. It's a way of changing the way we think, letting go of our fixed views to see things we've previously overlooked. And it's not just in sales, it's useful in many other areas, from problem solving, to improving creativity, to managing emotions. Have you ever tried reverse thinking in your life? If not, try starting with the smallest situations, like how you communicate with your colleagues, how you handle stress. Try asking yourself, if I thought the other way around, would the results be different? This is a great way to refresh your thinking and come up with creative solutions. What do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences. In life, we all experience failure or at least encounter difficulties that seem to have no way out. And when failure occurs, the most common reaction is to feel self-blame, disappointment, and frustration. But instead of focusing on the negative, try applying reverse thinking to look at failure differently. To help you visualize this better, let me give you an example. Imagine you are a young person who has just failed in starting a business. You have invested a lot of time, money, and effort into the project, but it has not gone anywhere. Normally, we would immediately think that we are not good enough, or feel that we have wasted our efforts. But instead of blaming yourself, try asking yourself, what did I learn from this failure? What in the process is valuable for me to take with me on my next journey? Maybe this failure taught you about the importance of financial management, about how to research the market, or simply helped you better understand your strengths and weaknesses. When we look at failure from a positive perspective, by turning it around, this mindset helps us find valuable lessons that would otherwise be overlooked. We no longer see failure as an end in itself, but as part of the journey of growth. Have you ever had a failure that you look back on and learned something from? If so, try writing it down and sharing it to remind yourself that no failure is meaningless. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself and change the way you look at difficulties. Right now, think back to a past failure and ask yourself, if I had thought differently, what would I have learned from that time? Turn failure into an opportunity to grow. Inversion thinking not only helps us overcome difficulties or failures, but is also a great tool to stimulate creativity. In modern life, we are always surrounded by countless information, old ways of working, and social norms. Therefore, one of the biggest challenges is how to find new solutions, think differently, and create breakthroughs. One of the characteristics of reverse thinking is that it breaks old patterns, forcing us to question things we previously took for granted. Let me tell you a story about a creative person, let's say a designer. One day, they have to create a design for an advertising campaign for a large company. The first question is usually, what is so great about this product? How can we present it in the most attractive way? This is the normal approach that many people would take. However, instead of following the beaten path, this designer tried to think in reverse. Instead of asking themselves how to present their products in an eye-catching way, they asked the opposite question: if I can't make this product stand out, what can I do? By thinking in reverse, designers realized that instead of just highlighting the product, they could highlight the emotions and connections consumers have with the product. They began to build their advertising campaigns around deep emotions, rather than just product features. The result was a highly successful advertising campaign that not only grabbed attention, but also made consumers feel emotionally attached to the product. So how can you apply reverse thinking to your creativity? Here are a few ways you can try today. 1. Ask the opposite question. When you're stuck in a situation, instead of looking for a solution in the usual way, try asking, if I can't solve this problem, what can I do? Or if I can't do it the way I planned, what other options are there? 2. Looking for problems that aren't problems. Often we spend too much time trying to solve problems that we've already identified. But if you think about it in reverse, you may find that the real problems that need to be solved may be different from what you initially imagined. For example, at work, you may find that a conflict between co-workers isn't the biggest problem, but rather a lack of clear communication. 3. Step outside your comfort zone. Inversion thinking pushes you out of your comfort zone. Try something different, not following any of the norms you know. Don't be afraid to fail when you don't follow the beaten path. Try new ways, find bold solutions, go against existing assumptions. You've probably heard the story of Steve Jobs and Apple. One of the key factors that helped Apple become the world's leading innovative brand was its ability to think outside the box. While most other companies focused on improving the features of their phones, Jobs thought the opposite. Instead of just optimizing the hardware, why not improve the overall user experience? This mindset led to the creation of the iPhone, a product that not only changed technology but also changed the way we interact with the world. Question for you. Have you ever felt stuck in your creative work? How can you change your approach to a problem and come up with a more creative solution? Try thinking backwards and share with me what ideas can help you break the limits in your work and life. Take a few minutes right now to reflect on a project or task that you are having trouble with. Instead of continuing to pursue the usual solutions, try thinking backwards. Ask yourself, if I couldn't do it this way, what would I do? This may help you come up with a new solution that you hadn't thought of before. Next, practice reverse thinking to achieve calm and control your emotions. When we are faced with strong emotions like anger, anxiety, or frustration, our first reaction is often to act on our emotions without thinking. But if we apply counter-thinking to such moments, it can help us gain better control over our emotions and respond more rationally. Imagine you are faced with a stressful situation at work. You feel unfairly criticized by a coworker and immediately feel angry. Instead of letting your emotions dictate your actions, try asking yourself the opposite question: what would happen if I didn't react this way? If I chose to stay calm and look at the situation objectively, what would I see? This way, you not only avoid reacting impulsively, but you can also solve the problem more effectively. Inversion helps you pause and evaluate the situation from a different perspective, helping you make better decisions. Question for you. In stressful situations, how do you usually react? Do you ever try to stop and think backwards to find another solution? Try using reverse thinking today when you're feeling stressed. Before you react, ask yourself, if I did the opposite, would the outcome be different? This is a great way to help you stay calm and control your emotions more effectively. What's the worst that could happen, and how can I change it? Practicing reverse thinking is a great way to unleash creativity and fresh thinking. Inversion isn't something you can change overnight, but once you get used to it and start practicing it, you'll find that it can change the way you approach life and work. Developing an effective inversion habit takes patience and daily practice. It can change the way you see the world, help you solve problems more effectively, and avoid making the same mistakes over and over again. 1. Start from the smallest things. Start with small situations in your daily life. For example, at work, instead of just following the usual steps, try asking, if I didn't do it this way, what would I do to get a better result? Or in relationships, instead of just reacting emotionally, try thinking the opposite: if I looked at this situation from the other person's perspective, would I understand them better and find a reasonable solution? Starting with simple situations like this will help you build the habit of reverse thinking naturally, and gradually you will find it becoming part of your everyday problem solving. 2. Create space for creativity. One of the biggest benefits of inversion is its ability to stimulate creativity. When you try to change the way you approach problems, you are forced to look at them from new angles. This not only helps you come up with unique solutions, but also encourages you to be more creative in your work and life. For example, if you are an innovator or leader in an organization, inversion thinking can help you break out of old patterns and adopt more creative problem-solving methods. Inversion thinking can help you identify new ways of working, which can lead to developing unique products, services, or strategies and overcoming challenges at work. 3. Constantly ask yourself questions. The most powerful tool of inversion is the question. By asking yourself the opposite question, you will open up many opportunities and possibilities for growth that you had not thought of before. Questions are not simply to find answers, but they also help you see the problem in a deeper and more comprehensive way. For example, in a team meeting, instead of just presenting solutions in the usual way, you can ask, if I did the opposite of everything that was previously agreed upon, would the result be better? This is a way to broaden your perspective and come up with breakthrough ideas. Questions for you. Can you recall a situation in your life where you changed your approach by asking yourself the opposite question? What counter-questions have you tried that have been effective in finding novel solutions? Try practicing self-questioning every day. When you encounter a difficult or stuck situation, instead of going in the same old direction, try thinking differently, asking yourself, what if I did it the other way around, and write down what you get from this process. Over time, you will realize how inversion can enrich your life. In addition to its applications in work and creativity, inversion can also be of great benefit in personal relationships. Especially in conflict situations, inversion can help you calm negative emotions and find more effective ways to communicate. 1. Put yourself in others' shoes. One of the best ways to practice reverse thinking in relationships is to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Instead of just looking at a situation from your perspective, try imagining yourself in the other person's shoes. This will help you better understand their feelings and perspective, making it easier to resolve conflicts. For example, in an argument with a family member or friend, instead of just defending your point of view, try to think about how they might be feeling. They might be anxious, or they might have their own reasons for having a different opinion than you. Once you understand this, it will be easier to find ways to communicate more calmly and understandingly. 2. Find win-win solutions. Inversion also helps you find win-win solutions in relationships. We often think that in an argument or discussion, there is only one winner and one loser. However, inversion helps you change that perspective. Instead of just trying to win, you can ask yourself, can we both find a solution that we can both be happy with? This is how relationships become more sustainable and collaborative. 3. Reduce feelings of anger and sadness. When we get caught up in negative emotions, it's easy to lose control and react emotionally. But counterthinking helps you reduce these emotions by reframing the situation. For example, when you feel criticized or unfair, try asking yourself, if I weren't feeling this emotion, how would I view this situation? This helps you stay calm and gain a more objective view of the situation. Questions for you. Have you ever applied reverse thinking to a conflict situation? Did it feel different when you changed your approach? When you encounter a disagreement in your relationship, how do you usually react? How can you try to change the way you think and act? Try applying reverse thinking to an existing relationship, whether it's with a friend, co-worker, or family member. When faced with a stressful situation, try to see it from the other person's perspective. This can not only help you resolve the issue, but also create a stronger relationship. Conclude. Inversion is not only a powerful problem-solving tool, but it is also the key to discovering new perspectives in life. When you change the way you think, you actually change the way you see the world and can find more creative, calmer, and more effective solutions to any situation. Remember, inversion isn't a skill you can master overnight. But with daily practice, little by little, it will become a natural part of how you solve problems, manage your emotions, and even develop lasting relationships. And as you practice inversion, you'll not only change the way you see the world, but you'll also find your life becomes easier and more enjoyable. If you found what I shared today helpful and want to continue exploring more ways to live a creative, calm, and meaningful life, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos or podcasts. Please share your stories and experiences about applying inversion in your life. I would love to hear your feedback so we can learn and grow together. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in the next podcast.